projection, it's so important, because that's what's happening all the time with all women. And I mean, for some people it's worse the younger you get, for some people it's worse the older you get, depending on things. But it happens to women anywhere, in any profession. And it's something we really need to be more aware of. We really need, when you walk into a room and you're perhaps the only woman or one of very few, and the whole style, the whole ethos is predominantly male, you have to understand that you will have things projected on you that have nothing to do with who you are. And there are ways of coping. And you know, we need to learn from research that's been done, and people looking into this and saying, you know, how can we tackle this? Because, you know, there are layers and layers of things that are just not true about each and every woman that meets with some man who will think certain things. So it's really frightening. It's really I mean, it's damaging the way men and women relate to each other in the church, in a healthy way and in a loving way and in a Christian way. So we need, you're absolutely right. We can't, you know, just saying it's wrong or isn't it a pity is not good enough. We have to do something.
One of the things which seems to me to be working well through Inclusive Church is the way in which different groups are engaging with one another. Different groups who have all been the victims of preconceptions and projections and misunderstandings. And there's something terribly exciting going on. And it's not just in Inclusive Church, it's kind of across all of us lot in the Church of England, about saying, well, actually, what does it mean to be working together? And I think we're none of us quite sure, but there's something, it's hard to put my finger on it, but you know, it's great when Jenny Thomas comes. She's the chair of the Association of Black Clergy, and says, we want to be more involved in Inclusive Church, because that challenges my preconceptions. It's great when Christina is honest about, you know, the fact that some members of Watch are less comfortable than others in working with Inclusive Church, but Watch has remained affiliated. And what we did at Lambeth, I thought, was good, because we were kind of worshipping together. We were modelling a kind of church outside the fence, which was very unlike the kind of thing which was being modelled inside with the bishops. So I'm not downhearted, but I just want to say that lots of people are the victims of projections, including, you know, the powerful men as well, you know, the straight white men. And kind of what we're trying to work on is something which engages everyone.
It sort of fell into two extremes, or the media coverage. One was that it was a victory for women, and we were going to have women bishops, and but by and large the headlines were about how the traditionalists threatening to leave, and it was actually seen through the eyes mainly of how the vote affected those who don't want to go forward with having women as bishops. And the person who really got in the spotlight was the Bishop of Dover, who had an outburst of anger as well as just outrage on the floor of Synod, and ended by bursting into tears. And his tears seemed to count for an awful lot. And he seemed to become a sort of an image and a symbol of, this is what we were doing to the men, and doing to by extension almost the church, even though all that we know is that out there perhaps 85–90% of all Church of England members would welcome or at least accept women as bishops, and so there was very little pictures of I mean, there were some pictures of some women looking pleased, but there weren't a lot of pictures of men looking pleased. and this is the thing, because, you know, most men are pleased in the Church of England, and this is why it was, you know, it was the senior bishop, or a male bishop, crying and being so upset, and showing the archbishops of Canterbury and York walking out of the debate looking really anguished and depressed. Yeah. And there were no signs of jubilation from just what I would call people who represent the normal picture of the Church of England. So I think it was really biased, and that's what we hit all the time. Is, you know, who is the Church? Who speaks for the Church of England? And that's a genuine problem for the media, because unlike perhaps the Roman Catholic Church, there isn't one person who can give an authoritative line. You know, you have to go to this bishop and then that bishop and this clergy and then that lay person, or synod, or is it the Archbishop's Council, a body I'm also on, and thank God that is, please tell me that's not the Church of England. You know, so there is a genuine problem with the media and the Church of England. We appear woolly when we're not quite as woolly as we are, but there is a particular problem with women.
I guess just talking from my own experience, I think that the culture in the church has changed a lot, even over the last few years. Because even when I was exploring my vocation not that long ago, there weren't that many books written specifically with women in mind. So we were reading Michael Ramsey, and you know, the language is quite old-fashioned, and it's a brilliant book, The Christian Priest Today, but you do have to just read it and change all the male pronouns. I don't know, I guess it is just, things are changing, which is really good. There is a lot more now that's addressing the issue of women in ministry. I mean, there are more role models, I think that's definitely true now, more female role models. There are more women in senior leadership positions. And I think that has, in the short time that's happened, changed the culture of the church a lot, so that maybe younger people don't notice the problems so much as older people.
When the debate started in General Synod about including women in the episcopate, all of a sudden the church felt it really important to look at the nature of the episcopate. And oh my goodness, what's a bishop? We don't know what a bishop is. But one thing we know, women can't be. And so actually one of the things and the contributions that women have made in a very sort of strange way, by God's grace, is that it's forced the church to look, what does it mean to be a bishop? What does it mean to be a priest? And so, yes, it will be, you know, it will be more open and better for everyone, male and female, but women have already contributed in that way.
It's not a different vocation. I mean, you know, it's the same vocation, in the same way that women will be bishops and they will be bishops like male bishops. But there may be things around living out that vocation that are specific to being female, or they may not. You know, and you just have to kind of suck it and see where you get to. And your experiences might be very different from other women, very similar to some men, very different, you know, to others, and because it's all about ourselves as individuals before God. But you know, some of the raft of stuff that I bring, it does happen to be about being a woman.